So, if you want to start filming videos, you don't need to spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars on cameras, lenses, and other gear. Odds are the phone that you have in your pocket is already good enough. There's a lot of creators out there that waste time chasing gear before they even get started, and I know I was guilty of this as well. The thing is, if you own any smartphone that was made within like the last 5 years or so, you already have a studio level camera inside your pocket. The trick to it is getting the most out of it. And lucky for you, I have shot every single one of my videos on this YouTube channel with my iPhone, and in this one, I would like to show you some of the tips and tricks that I've learned so far along the way. Now, the thing with video is, even if you own a $2,000 camera, it is not going to look good if you don't have the right lighting. And even then, if you do have some lights, upgrading your lighting can take you from looking something like an amateur to a really true professional. The most simple intervention that you can do is if you record your videos during the day, face a window whenever you record. This is something that seems super simple, but it can actually give you really good lighting without hardly any effort. You can also take advantage of the sun by filming outside towards the mornings or the evenings, or really anytime the sun is soft, and it'll give you that nice glow to your skin. In really either circumstance, just make sure to not film with your back towards the sun or your back towards the window, because this can make you look dark and you're actively fighting against your lighting that you could take advantage of. On the other hand, if you're like me and find yourself doing a majority of your filming at night, you can actually grab any lamp that you have around and try to take advantage of it. At the start of my channel, I actually used an IKEA lamp as my key light, and sure, it wasn't the most perfect thing in the world, but it really did work in a pinch. I think using lamps like this too can actually be a really good way to teach you and let you play with some of the lighting principles and basics straight out of the gate, and it's a great way to learn literally for free if you have lamps around. And a small thing too that I think a lot of people don't realize or consider is try to pay attention to your background too. It's a good idea to try to pick something that's nice and like visually appealing, but not distracting to your audience. I know for me, I chose to film in this corner because I like the bookshelf that's behind me and I like the way some of the leading lines kind of point you to me in a way. But regardless of wherever you shoot, please God clean up everything that you have in the background of your video before you start shooting. And just try to make it a nice, visually appealing, and clutter-free environment whenever you film. That will do a lot for your videos and your audience and their visual pleasure as well. Also, one last thing, I've made this mistake before. Try not to record like right up against a wall with your back to the wall unless you're going specifically after like that prison mugshot look. Okay, so we did lighting first, and next, and maybe even more important than lighting, is your audio. Because regardless of how good your video looks, nobody's going to want to watch it if your audio quality is completely trash. And I know for me, audio was super intimidating whenever I decided to get started, but honestly, you can make a lot of improvements in your audio with just trying to pay attention to your sound. First of all, you may not realize it, but your iPhone or your Android, whatever phone that you have, probably has a pretty exceptional microphone already attached to it. Regardless of your mic though, I think it's important to keep in mind that the biggest factor to your sound is probably going to be your environment. Even a good microphone will struggle in a truly terrible place of recording. Whenever you're making your videos or filming your content, if at all possible, try to avoid noisy places if you can. I know in my house, my air conditioner can be pretty loud, so I try to turn it off whenever I'm recording unless it's particularly hot. But yeah, any fans, microwaves, washing machines, anything like that that has that like droning hum or is noisy in the background can definitely be distracting to your audience and kind of lose focus away from your voice and the points that you're trying to make. And two, if your setup is like mine and you have a lot of reverb or you have like bare walls or bare floors or anything like that, you can actually move your desk or your sound setup or wherever you're recording away from your wall, like I tend to do, to try to fight some of that reverb that comes back to you. And with that too, without having to buy foam panels or anything like that, you can actually hang blankets on the wall behind your mic, and that really will help to kind of give you some professional level soundproofing without forking out a ton of money to do that. Or regardless of all that, if you're doing like a faceless YouTube channel or you're just doing voice work, you can actually get really good audio by recording in your closet. You can actually get pretty good audio in your closet even. It's not that hard, and you get, really good vocal isolation in here with all the clothes. If you have a big walk-in space like this, it can do pretty good. Now, audio is so important that I think a microphone is probably going to be one of those things you want to invest in early if you are serious about making content and growing your channel. If you are going to be buying a microphone, I personally have two recommendations. For a wireless microphone option, I would definitely recommend you go with the Hollyland Lark M2 for, like I said, that wireless option with a great sound at a fantastic price. If wired is more your thing, then I would recommend you go for the Maono PD400X, which I'm actually recording this very video with. It kind of has that deeper, more richer, even podcast sound if that's what you're after. Both of these mics do have different use cases, but are super plug and play for beginners, and I've actually done videos on both of them. If you'd like to check that out, I'll try to link them here. Like I said, these mics are exactly what I use to record my videos, and I do use both of them very often, so I couldn't recommend them enough. I have no issues out of either. Now, one last but small but still important detail is camera stability. Now, even though this is something important, you still don't need to go spend a whole bunch of money on tripods or gimbals or anything else to try to make your phone stable whenever you're recording. I think my best advice with this is to try to plan around your recording space. You can always prop your phone up on a shelf or even use a stack of books in a pinch if you need to. Pretty much anything will work to get you started and just get your content off the ground to begin with. Just pick a good place that keeps your phone steady and you in the frame, and try to follow the rule of thirds if you can, and that'll give you some really good composition and make your videos seem just even a little bit more professional by using some of those basics. Now, I don't want to go this whole video without mentioning camera settings. This might be a hot take, but even though they are important, I think a whole bunch of people get caught up and intimidated and don't even start because they're worried whether or not they have the right exact settings to dial into their camera. To me, and I think I would recommend this to everybody, I think the main thing is there are just a few really basic principles to keep in mind whenever you start, and then you can build on it from there. At a baseline, I would recommend you film with the rear cameras on your phone because those are going to be the best, and I would recommend that you film with the main lens of your camera, which is probably your 1x or whatever the default lens is whenever you open the camera app. These are just going to give you the best quality straight up, and they have the biggest sensors usually and the best megapixels and everything else that, is details with cameras. So that's going to give you the best look to your video. By using the back of your phone instead of the front of your phone and using these bigger lenses with bigger sensors, you're going to have better performance in low light, and it's just going to give you better quality all throughout. Also, if you do have the storage, I get that can be a problem and I struggle with that as well. Try to record in 4K if you can. The files for this are going to be bigger, but this is going to give you the absolute best quality that you can get, and it's really going to help you with the detail of your video if you can afford, like I said, the storage for it. Now, I will say with a caveat, if you're going to be recording something like a podcast or multiple hours long, I would probably just stick with 1080p. Don't sweat it too much on that. But if you're doing kind of short form or like medium form videos, kind of like I do, you're shooting for like 10, 15 minutes, I would definitely recommend 4K if you could do it. And now for the other important or big setting, we have your frames per second or your FPS. If you're going to be doing any kind of like vlogging or like action shooting or anything like that, I would probably recommend you shoot in 60 frames a second. This can have a really good advantage because you can actually slow it down in post-production. This is going to give you that flexibility to have some of that like nice pro-level cinematic look without trying to plan ahead and flip your phone into slow-mo mode anytime that you want to take a shot. That said, I would use your discretion, and I definitely wouldn't have it on all the time because there are some problems that comes with shooting in 60 frames. Whenever you're doing talking head footage like this, that high of a frame rate can actually give you like an unnatural look almost. I would say that if you're going to be leaving your phone still, or if you're going to be doing like a little bit of light vlogging and you're not doing action, 24 or 30 frames a second would be your best bet. Some people online and you'll read will tell you that one is definitely better than the other, but I think it's pretty much preference. I definitely wouldn't worry too much about that decision because they're both going to give you that good natural and cinematic look. Now, there are some people that'll tell you you absolutely have to film with another camera app outside of the native one on your phone. And I mean, there are apps out there like Blackmagic Camera app that are definitely good and super awesome with the features that they have. But I don't think it's necessary for beginners or anybody even starting out. Like I said, apps like this are super useful in a lot of situations and the more advanced that you get. But they give you too many controls, I feel like, whenever you begin, and sometimes too many options is a bad thing. Especially when you're just starting out, getting the basics down and kind of understanding the fundamentals of video can be the best first steps you can take before you worry about more advanced features like this. Even for me, I didn't start making videos until recently because I was really worried that I wouldn't have the right equipment to make content look good. And that sucks because YouTube has been something that I've wanted to do since I was a kid pretty much. I say that because I really don't want you to make the same mistake that I did and wait years or think that you're not ready when you could take that time and really start building and practicing and making your channel and your content. Take these tips and just do the most important thing that you can, which is just press record on your camera. Don't worry that much about making it perfect at first. Just start somewhere and I promise you'll improve with every single video and upload. Definitely just fall in love with the process and you will figure it out as you go. The views, the subscribers, and even the money might come later down the road, but you will be happy in the medium time. So with all of that out of the way, I hope this video helped you in some way, or at least motivated you to get started. If you do have any experience in making videos with your phone, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments, or if you have any more tips or anything like that you think I should know or you'd like to share with anybody else, I think that would be great. And also, being an iPhone guy for the last few years, I'd really love to hear if you have an Android in the comments, how your video making experience is on your phone, whether it be Samsung or Google. It's something that I've thought about switching over to in the future, but I'm still kind of hesitant. I will have some links in the description for like the videos that I mentioned earlier about the different microphones and maybe some other tips that I have for you guys. But most importantly, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your time and your energy and everything that you do. All your comments and the new subscribers here, thank you so much. I apologize because I've been sick a little bit lately, but I promise I will get back to normal uploads. I think I missed a week there, so we will get back to it. But yeah, if this video was helpful to you, please feel free to subscribe, like the video, share it, whatever you need to do. And I will be seeing you guys soon. Thank you so much. Have a good day and an even better night. Peace.